So, supports aren't super happy in Overwatch 2, is the general feeling we're getting. We've got multiple people who had access to the closed alpha talking about that. We have people who have seen scrims talking about that. We theorized that that would be a problem quite a bit. We actually have done a couple videos on it, including a video yesterday on, hey, we might need another more slippery support to join Lucio, Moira, and Mercy as the slippery supports that get things done. But let's see the takes of the community first. And we start up here. We see a tweet from Bad Pachimari, and that says, main issue I have is overall that supports just generally feel underwhelming to play. That doesn't really surprise us too much. Peel is coming at a premium. There's one less tank at the board to peel. The CC works less on tanks. There's less hard CC stuns in general. A little bit more using slows to make things happen, and tanks have resistance against CC. So not too surprising there. Mobile DPS are powerful. DPS have the ability to swap over to mobile heroes. Tanks have the ability to swap over to mobile heroes. Supports only have 3 heroes that can do that, and they don't play super nice together. Or if they do, in the case of Lucio Moira, they don't, allow much of the rest of the cast. They don't support those mobile DPS, for example, that you might want to be playing if you want to be on mobile supports. We can move over to ML7, another support player, well known for his flex support play, is going to say, I participated in the Overwatch 2 alpha. All I can say is that it's going to be an interesting ride for supports. Yeah, it really is. And then we'll move on to Avast before we get a bit of a clip from Custa. And Avast says, I played the Overwatch 2 alpha, but I'm traveling for Masters and dealing with a S-ton of other work projects, so I don't have a vid. I think the game feels fun and currently meta diverse, but supports are being flattened. Specifically flex support players. Overall looking good. So again, we see that support, specifically flex supports, which are mostly our less mobile, less slippery supports, with sort of the exception of Moira, are getting flattened there. And I suspect what's really he's talking about is Zen, Bap, and Ana aren't having a good time. And we kind of know from the leaks, from the theory crafting, that Ana's probably having the best time of those. But yeah, that sort of makes sense. Ana's been someone to retain her stun in the form of Sleep Dart, even if it is now on a 15-second cooldown. So that sort of makes sense. We're really looking at this. This is a rough time. And let's get our final bit of feedback before I talk about this from Custa. We can go in here. So Custa's had the benefit. He's sat in on a few scrims from a few different teams, seen some of this, be preparing for Overwatch League, casting that, all that. Let's listen to him.
Because there was a lot of rumors about people being like, oh, double flex support is just going to be the best thing. Everyone's just going to play Zen Baptiste.
I don't know that people thought it would be the best thing. Maybe people were like, oh yes, them being able to self-heal with their new passive would be good. That's part of what a main support was for. Maybe that was the argument. I think this more came down to a, hey, dueling to protect themselves may be the only option. You might just have to trade back. But sure, let's listen to it.
Everywhere. That's actually not the case. Because of how fast the game is, it's actually gone in the opposite direction of flex supports are actually heavily struggling because it's almost impossible to protect your backline. So people...
Right, we're seeing a lot of movement, a lot of, hey, let's play fast heroes, with the exception of Zarya, who we know is getting played in part because her beam was ignoring damage reduction from armor. That was a bug, but a lot of fast heroes, Sojourn, other flankers. Tracer has seen a nerf, but a lot of stuff like that means, oh wait, it's really hard to keep your backline alive, especially when you can't dedicate a tank to them. Or if you do, you're moving around as a unit of 3, and then you need a tank, a support, and a main support to protect your flex support. That's 3 people devoted to keeping the one person alive, 2 other people in a team of 5. That's a lot. You'd almost want to get rid of it. Can you even keep it alive? Wouldn't you want your tank to do some work? We'll listen more.
People are preferring to play these more survivable backlines, your Lucios, your Moiras, even like Ana to a degree, because you're able to protect each other and stay alive and move with the team. Because if you try and play these very stagnant, high mechanically skilled heroes, you can actually get overrun by the DPS and the tanks quite easily.
Right. There's just no actual ability to protect your backline. You have to invest so much resource to do it. That's just going to be a design flaw or a design choice based on how the game is set up. We'd look at this and go, again, you're devoting a ton of resource to protecting basically the need to keep a flex support who isn't Moira alive. So that's going to be tough. Are we just going to accept that that's the case? Are we going to see a lot of Lucio Moira, but then they can't support angles? Are we going to see a lot of Lucio Mercy? Is that going to be a top tier comp because those are both slippery enough to survive? Or are we going to see the no, we're going to go ahead and really try to protect our backline by stacking a bunch of people that can protect them? Maybe we have our Diva, our Lucio, our Ana all rotating together, and Ana can stun stuff, Lucio can help her move away and can boop, Diva can DM over her, or Sigma can shield over her, whatever the case is there, and then maybe even a DPS on top of them as well to help heal, but then you've given up all the map control in the world. And map control, we'll see how heavily emphasized that ends up being in Overwatch 2. It's still a shooter, it still should fundamentally be important, but with very little ability to anchor stuff without committing your only tank to that anchor, we're really going to have to see. I certainly do expect that we're going to see a little bit of a hard time for flex supports in general. It looks like Overwatch has been designed sort of with that early 2016 feel of dive as king, base race to take out the supports, and maybe that'll mean move away, like you sometimes saw. You'd see a Lucio Mercy support line for a pharmacy comp in dive because both teams knew they were playing base race type things with your base being your support line there. As Overwatch matured, we moved a little bit more onto punishing tanks, and then even a better understanding of punish whoever's on the angles, which would sometimes be DPS, sometimes be tanks, all that stuff. But this could be back to flex supports are food. Flex supports might bring a lot of power. If you can find a way to keep them on the board and alive, they could be really powerful. Maybe we'll see balance changes to help make that happen, though again, that's going to be tough. Maybe we'll simply see flex supports get a little bit more slipperiness, like with new ones being released. That would certainly be interesting. And obviously some of the flex main terminology, that'll probably go away as we get deeper into Overwatch 2 here. But the point is, you need to field 2 supports. We do have role lock, and you do need enough power in your support line to win. So maybe that's 2 slippery supports that enable poke. Maybe that's 2 slippery supports that enable a brawl. Or maybe that's going to be a case of 2 really powerful immobile supports that are backed up by a tank that can really do a good job of protecting them, as well as maybe a DPS. We're ultimately going to have to see, but for now, I do expect a fair amount of, especially in ladder play, just doubling up and accepting that you're going to be playing with Lucio, Moira, Mercy, maybe Brig, things like that. Really, these slippery supports, not the power of a Discord Orb, the power of an anti-nade, the power of a bunch of BAP damage. I wouldn't expect to see too much of those 3 heroes, at least on ladder. They're simply not going to feel protected enough for the beta for what we're going to see. Overwatch League might be a little bit of a different story, but I wouldn't expect too much of those more static heroes on ladder, so get used to playing without them. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you think, hey, that'll be fine, it'll be fun to play hunt the supports, run them around as they slip away? Or are you going, hey, wait, no, I was playing support, I don't like this hide and seek thing. Hide and seek was a terrible way to play Overwatch. We had that back with Mercy. It won't actually be hide and seek. I want to be able to frag, I want to be able to fight, I want to play my BAP and win, and I'm sure I'll be able to do it with my lamp. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Feel free to drop a like, and if you want to see more Overwatch 2 coverage, as we will be going heavy in it, please do consider subscribing, as there will be more of that. Thanks. Temporal out.